Alrighty. Erik Snyder, how you doing, man?
Doing good. How are you, Nick?
I'm great. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Welcome, everyone. This is our last episode here of the free Livestream series, class series through Bellinghome. And I'm excited to have Erik here today. We're going to talk about some easy and cool ways to get some interesting harmony with some chord stacking ideas. Let's see here. Do you have I just wanted to quick ask you, I've been asking everyone how their quarantine and experience has been really quick.
How has it been? Really quickly, it's been. I never thought it would turn into this. I don't know if anyone did. It's
Yeah.
been okay. And I think our pandemic's good for musicians. Well, not for gigging, but certainly for playing. If you're locked up in your house, might as well practice. You might as well write something. So
Yeah.
I've been getting a little bit more stuff done musically and spending more time with my wife and exercising a little more.
Great. Sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of likewise here doing been writing and practicing, getting some yard work done and spending
Yard
time with
work.
the dogs and my girlfriend and all that. So, yeah. I wanted to mention right behind you you have that book all popped up. So Erik wrote this awesome book. Can you grab it and show us a little closer? Um, Really useful tool. Music theory as well as guitar. So, I bought it. It's a lot of good, useful info. Me and him both, we actually met because of, we would have inevitably met, I feel like, but I saw this guy at a funk jam one time, and I heard him doing things that sounded similar to Ted Green. I kind of discovered Ted Green a while back, a few years before I met Erik. And yeah, I went up to him afterwards and I'm like, sound like some Ted Green stuff you're playing there. And from then on, we just kind of, you're actually the first one I jammed with. That was the first
Really, I didn't know
successful
that.
successful invite I got to jam. Well, me inviting myself to jam, asking you to jam. So, it's been awesome. And, now we've played in groups together and recorded together. And anyway, yeah. So let's talk about some stuff here, some music.
Yeah, let's do it. I wanted to talk today about something that Nick and I do called chord stacking. Some people call it upper structure, some people call it polytonal harmony, some call it polytonal fractions, but Nick and I like to call it chord stacking, just when you take a chord and put it right on top of another chord and you get really close, clustered, cool sounds and you can generate chords that way. And what I thought we would do is I would show you where we're going and then show you how to get there. For example, here's an A major chord. Should all know this. Then D major. I've got a loop station here, so I can loop what I play, record it, and then loop it. Now, how would I change that into something different? Well, I could put this chord on top of it like this. So how did I do that? What did I do? Why did I do it? Why would you ever want to do this? I think that this idea of stacking chords is really good for getting chords you wouldn't have gotten otherwise. They're not brand new chords. It's not like you're going to play a chord that no one's ever heard of before. People have heard of G major 9, people have heard of A flat minor 9, things like that. But you'll play it in a way that you wouldn't have if you just tried to voice it like this or something. We all know as guitar players, if you want some interesting, close, clustered sounds, you have to really stretch.
Mm-hmm.
This is a way to do it without doing that. So you can get these sounds by doing this. You can also stay out of the way of a piano player or another guitar player that's in your group. If everyone's down here on E major, for example, if you want to all have 5 guys rocking out on E major, that's the sound you want, that's cool. But you could also play E major up here, right? And you can play other chords on top of that to stay out of everybody's way and really stretch out the sound, stretch out the range of harmonies you have. You can also stay out of the way of a singer. You can also do it just because you want to. That's why I do it mostly. I just really like the sound. And you can even write harmony parts with it. You can write horn lines, you can write vocal parts with it. Just another way, another tool you can have to generate these things. Now, I think we all know the basic chords. When I say basic chords, I'm talking about the campfire chords. Talking about C major, G major, A minor, F major, and all that. Right? All these open chords down here. Sometimes I call them campfire chords. I don't mean to put them down. They sound beautiful and amazing, and you can write a lot of good stuff with them. If your ear ever gets tired of hearing them, try stacking chords on the top of them. I call these Snyder's 17. I have a chart that's it's the Snyder's 17 chart. I just needed a way to tell students what are the basic chords that you should learn. From a beginner's standpoint, what should I learn first? There's a million something chords on guitar, and which ones to learn first? Those Snyder's 17. So we could play a chord progression using these chords. And how many songs have been written using these? Hundreds of thousands at least. For example, we could play the chord progression A minor, D minor, to E minor, to A minor. We could arpeggiate it, add color notes, all that. But those are all done with these open chords. There's another way we can play these, and that's with triads. Triads meaning a 3-note chord. A chord that you only have the root, the third, and the fifth, for those that like or know music theory. That's a major chord. The root, the flat third, and the fifth for a minor chord. We could play this chord progression, and right now I'm on example 1, for those following along on the charts that we made. Example 1 goes like this. That's A minor, D minor, E minor, A minor, just played a different way. And again, we could arpeggiate that. Not that, sorry. Could play it another way. Example 2 is another way to play this. A minor, D minor, E minor, A minor. Again, we could arpeggiate that. That's just those chords. I'm not adding any extra notes. A classical guy might have done it like this. E7 going into A minor. These are what we're going to be using to stack, the triads. Although you can use bar chords, and I've done it, Nick and I have done this, where if I play big fat bar chords, someone else can play a big fat bar chord somewhere else. Sounds great, but for the sake of this lesson, we're just going to use these triads. We could also make this chord progression major. So instead of A minor, D minor, E minor, A minor, it would be A major, D major, E major, and then back to A major, which could sound like this. Here's good. A major, D major, E major, A major. These triads live all over the neck. There's A major here, A major, here's A major, here's D major, here's E major, here's A major, sure most of you out there have one. The one I found that I like the most, and I'm going to plug a different book for a second, is the one, this guy's book, in Chord Chemistry, Ted Green's book, the guy that Nick was talking about. If you want a book that where you'll never need any other chord substitution book or chord chart book, this is the one. I did not put any chord charts in my book intentionally because I didn't want to rival Ted. I would have just used most of his. So get his book. He died in 2005, so anything you purchase that's his will go to support his legacy, which I have purchased several things and I recommend you do too. Anyway, now there's another way to play triads, which I just hinted at a little bit. These triads are closed, meaning close voiced. We can't get the notes any closer than that. But we could spread them out. For example, A minor to D minor to E minor to A minor could be played like this. There, that was A minor, D minor, E minor, whoops, A minor. Good stuff, man. That was example 4.1. I'll play it again. Kind of cool to have a chord progression that goes up, A minor, D minor, E minor, A minor, but goes down at the same time on guitar, right? Again, that was example 4.1. If we go to example 4.2, we would see or hear A major, D major, E major, back to A major, like this. A major, D major, E major, A major. I'll play it again. Sometimes when I'm doing this, I hear things, and you will too. Anytime, of course, you hear these new things you might not have heard before. It sounds like something Bach might have liked or used. You stumble across these really cool things. This is just another way to play triads, open voiced. There is a song that we're going to use as our example song, Danny Boy. We're using it for a couple of reasons. One, because Nick and I both like it. Two, because it is public domain and we don't want to get sued. I think most people know it. The first chord of that song is C major. Oh, Danny Boy, the pipes are calling you. To Glen and down the mountainside. When we're backing up singers, as guitar players, we know that most of the time, unless you're playing jazz, most of the time, the simplest chord will do. We don't want to get in the way of the singer. We don't want to get in the way of the horn players, things like that. It's all got to come together. And we use these chords for all that stuff. I still like them. I still use them. I was talking about triads. We can use triads a different way. We can use triads to play songs all by themselves. I think they work best with diatonic songs. They sound the sweetest to me, but I know there's people out there that can do amazing things with all sorts of songs. But if we use our example song, Danny Boy, I'm going to play that using just triads. So I'll be playing the melody with chords. Lots of fun to do that. You can do that with your own songs. Take any song and just put triads underneath, triads with the melody, and you've got, it's like top ramen to me. It's instant harmony. There you go. Here's two other voices that you can have someone sing, or you can play, horn players can do it, whatever you want to do. That was from the chart Danny Boy, by the way, so if you want to play along, or if you want to play it by yourself, it's on that chart. Although I played a little bit more than what's on the chart there. The first chord is G major, then F major, then G major, then C major. You can see it on the chart there. G, C, F, C, C, G, F, F. Just a little tangent here about how useful and handy chords are. So a reminder of what we're doing, we're going to be taking chords and stacking them on top of these other chords. Think of it like a fraction. For those who don't like fractions, this will be the easiest fractions you've ever done. If you have a chord, you're going to take a chord and stack on top of it a fifth away. You do need to know a little bit about music theory. If we are, that chord progression I used in the beginning, for example, A major to D major, if we take A major, a fifth away from that is E. And I'm trying to visualize it for you like this. I always stack chords above. I take the basic chord and leave it on the bottom, so where the bass is, and then take the chord I'm stacking and put it up above. For example, in A, it would be E major. And then D major was the next chord I played in that beginning progression. That would mean we'd play a fifth away from D, which is A. So here's D major, A major's up here. You don't have to do it that way. Sometimes I'll put that chord I'm stacking right on top of, in the same area as the other chord. It's a personal thing. It's up to you. You need to experiment with it and hopefully have fun with it. I have fun every time I do this stuff. I think it's great. Let's go to example 5, which is the chord progression I'm talking about. Go back to the beginning chord progression.
Yeah, and if anyone, before we do it, thanks for all that, by the way. If anyone has any questions or anything, feel free to write it into the chat. I see we have Anissa watching, Mike Andrew, Joe Haugen, some of my buddies from North Dakota. I miss you guys. And of course, Anissa, I miss you too. All right, let's hear it.
Definitely, please ask questions. Good, thank you for saying that, Nick. If we're back at the beginning of where we started, which was an example, A major to D major, I was going to say, I had mentioned I have a loop station here. Nick and I really like using loop stations. I think they're wonderful compositional tools. I think that they are great for practicing. I think they're sketch pads, and they're very helpful in this situation where we're going to try some harmonies where you need another person. If you have another person willing to sit down and play some chords for you, that's great. Keyboard player, guitar player, doesn't matter. But Nick and I use loop stations all the time, and I recommend you do too. Since I'm not being paid to advertise this brand, I'm not going to mention it because it doesn't matter. There's a lot of good brands out there. Just get one that you like. I still have it looped from the beginning. No, I don't. So I'm going to go start this click track. And I'm going to use the simple chords that we know. I'm not going to play any bar chords or any triads up here. I'm just going to play straight off any rudimentary chord chart. A major right there, right? So here we go. I'm going to loop A major to D major. Sorry about that. That was a technical failure.
It's all right.
Can you try it one more time? Nope. There. So A major, 2 measures of A, 2 measures of D. If I was going to stack the chord, we are now on example 6. That was example 5. ways can you stack a chord over another chord? As many as you can think of and beyond. I forgot to mention that in this idea, this fraction idea, that we're keeping chords a fifth away, and we're keeping them the same quality. Meaning, if we're playing an A major chord, we're going to play a major chord up above it. If we're playing a minor chord, we would play a minor chord a fifth above it. I don't have that charted out, but I'm going to play a quick example for you, just so you can hear what it sounds like. This is A minor to D minor. So that'd be E minor. We play this A minor, which we play E minor over it, and then D minor, we play A minor. Sound. Whoops. And so on. Jazz players use this for getting altered tones, for getting flat nines, sharp nines, flat fives, and sharp fives. We're staying away from that today just because if you don't leave out certain notes, sometimes you can get into harmonies that are dissonant and don't sound good. If you're trying to play, let's say, an A7 flat 5, you wouldn't want the natural 5 in there, so you'd have to leave it out of your root chord. You wouldn't want that note in there. So when you do this, staying a fifth away and keeping the quality of the chord the same, major with major, minor with minor, you won't run into that problem. That's why I figured we'd do it this way. So the general rule is major with major, minor with minor. Although, again, there's a lot of other combinations. I talk about some of them in my book. And since we do offer online video lessons at Bellinghome, if anyone wants a lesson regarding this in a more detailed, expansive, harmonically enriched way, please contact us. What we're going to do now is go back to the song Danny Boy. I'm going to use my loop station again to play the basic chords. So I'll loop the basic chords, and then Nick and I are going to take turns stacking chords on top and playing the melody. cheat a little bit. I put a delay on.
It sounded pretty good though. My apologies too. I ended up playing a couple wrong chords there at the beginning, but I'm just learning this stuff.
It takes a while. It takes a while to get the stuff down. The concept I think is really easy.
Yep.
What I did to get good at it is to get out the real book. The real book is just a collection of jazz tunes. I would play the chords. Well, I would play the chords and loop it, and then practice sight reading the chords, sight reading what chord to stack on. So if I saw E flat major 7, I knew I had to be a fifth away B flat major 7. So I was always doing these calculations in my head. I still do it. And boy, you can really stumble across really cool things doing it that way. I had said just a little bit ago that I wasn't going to do any altered tones today. It was kind of a lie. No, it was a lie, because I thought maybe I'd show you what it sounds like when you do this, when you use this technique for stacking chords to get altered tones. Yeah. We're now on examples 8 and 9. First, what I need to do is play the basic chord progression. This is example 8. A 2-5-1 in the key of A major. B minor 7, E7, A major. Excuse me. I'm going to loop that. B minor 7, E7, A major 7. So now, it's example 8. One more time. That was a B minor 11 when you play that. When you play an A major chord under a B minor chord, you get an 11 type sound, a minor 11. And then this was E13 flat 9.
That's a cool sounding chord for sure.
That's a cool sound. If we do example 9, it would sound like this. F sharp minor, G major, E major. These are just triads. F sharp minor, G major, E major. Play it one more time, those go underneath. Chart a little bit there, but those are the same chords, just played in a different spot.
Nice. Hey, so I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So I know that you understand those harmonies and what they sound like, but when you were doing the chord stacking, were you, when you're just kind of discovering it and practicing it, were you trying to be like, oh, I want to get a B minor 11 sound, E13 flat 9 and an A major 9, because you knew you knew the voicings maybe on piano or guitar and like the closed voicings, or did you like see a chord chart being like, hey, you can stack this in chord stack it and get these harmonies? Like, did you try to use your chord stacking to find those, or did you just see kind of some examples?
I started with just doing the major a fifth away and minor a fifth away.
Yep.
And that's what grabbed me first. And my first reaction was, wow, this is cool. Why don't I explore this a little more?
Mm-hmm.
And then Then I tried out the other one. So how do you get, really looking at a formula? Okay, if you stack a chord, a major chord, a fifth away from another, or a flatted fifth away from another major chord, you get a flat five, flat nine. What does that sound like? And then through experimenting, I discovered ones I like. For instance, one of my favorites is to put a minor chord a whole step down from, excuse me, they put a major chord a whole step down from a minor chord to get a minor 11. Just like the first chord in examples 8, it's in example 8 is where this happened. It's this sound.
Nice.
That's B minor 11. It's hard to play that. You can get it. This is a B minor 11 also. But you can't get, there's a couple other notes in there that are clustered that you get by putting that triad right there, right on top of it.
Yep.
And I then discovered that you can also memorize where to move these. For instance, this is not on any of the charts that we did, but if I wanted to get an E7, sharp 9, sharp 5, I would slide, I learned that from this minor 11 idea, major chord a whole step down, slide it up 3 frets, you'll get that sharp 5, sharp 9, like this. This is going to be B minor 11 to an E augmented sharp 9 to A major 9. Sometimes when I'm playing, I'll hear where I want to go, and what I'm hearing is this triad moving. I'll say, oh, I want this sound. Go up there. Sometimes I miss. I don't get what I want.
Yeah, it seems similar to, like, you know, when you're doing chord melodies and you're just listening to the melody and maybe it's the top note of the chord and then you can figure out which inversion to do or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
Yeah. I mean, one way to think about it. There's a lot of ways to think about it.
Any way you think about it is right, as long as you are getting the sounds you want. And of course, as players, we all know that to get the sounds you want, you gotta make a lot of sounds that you don't want. Just bad notes, wrong notes, harmonies you didn't like. We can't get rid of them.
Yeah.
But record yourself doing this stuff. Loop it, and then play it back. For example, if I was going to do, we'll go back to example 8. Now I'm going to record these chords on top so I can hear it and listen. Now that I'm not playing, I can be the listener and listen objectively instead of thinking about what I'm doing.
Yep.
Again, I really like that first chord, that A minor 11. And of course, you can solo over this if you want to.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, you're just thinking A major, C sharp major, E major over those three chords.
I was thinking, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Sweet.
Yeah. I think what I'll do now is play something from what's an idea that Nick and I are working on together, just to give you another idea of what you can do. I'm going to play a chord progression that goes G minor 7, B flat minor 7, G minor 7, B flat minor 7, E flat major 7, F sharp major 7, E flat major 7, F sharp major 7, and loop it. cheating. I know it's not cheating. I like that sustained sound when the delay comes on.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. I mean, first time I really messed around with soloing, with those ideas, instead of just chord stacking. So it's I like it. Thanks for showing us all this stuff.
You're welcome. I hope that someone out there got at least something out of it. Every time I play this stuff I do, I learn something new, get some new song idea or one part of a song or anything. So thanks for having me, Nick. And anyone has any questions, contact Nick, contact the school, set up a lesson. Let's talk about it. It's my favorite thing to talk about.
For sure, yeah. And if anyone has any quick questions right now, you can type them into the chat, and I'll kind of watch it here. But just wanted to say thanks again for everyone for tuning in all week, the last couple weeks, with this live stream series. We've had this is the 6th class, and you can find them all on our YouTube channel. You'll see links on the Instagram profile, all over Facebook, and of course on YouTube. And yeah, if you want to take a lesson here from Erik, he does virtual private lessons, so for sure check him out. Yeah, and that's about it. I'm not seeing any questions, so we can wrap this one up. I appreciate you coming out today, and hope to see you soon in person.
Yeah, agreed. Thanks for having me, and take care. We'll catch up soon.
All right, take care. Just jam a little bit.